Lizzie Borden, The Curse of Blood and Lineage. In the quiet town of Fall River, Massachusetts, the Borden house stood as a silent witness to a gruesome chapter of history. In 1892, Lizzie Borden was accused of brutally murdering her father and stepmother with an axe, a crime that sent shockwaves through the community. Though acquitted, suspicion clung to her like a dark shroud. Most people have heard of Lizzie Borden, and chances are, you know this haunting rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. It followed Lizzie like a curse. What many don't know is how deep the resentment ran in the Borden household. Andrew Borden was wealthy, but you'd never know it by looking at how he treated his own family. He was frugal to the point of cruelty, refusing to modernize their home with indoor plumbing or electricity, even though they could easily afford it. Lizzie and Emma lived under strict rules, with most meals consisting of mutton, while his second wife, Abby, and her family wanted for nothing. When Andrew bought Abby's half-sister a house, tensions boiled over. Lizzie and Emma felt abandoned, replaced, their father's fortune going everywhere except to them. Andrew tried to appease them by selling them a property, only to buy it back shortly before the murders. Perhaps the worst offense came just months before the killings. Lizzie adored her pet pigeons, which she kept in the family barn. They were her companions, her comfort in a house where she felt like an outsider. But Andrew didn't approve. One day, he entered the barn with an axe, and when he walked out, the pigeons were dead. Lizzie was devastated. Some believe that was the moment she snapped. Now, how about this fascinating fact? Decades later, in 1975, actress Elizabeth Montgomery, famed for her role in the beloved television show Betwitched, took on the daunting role of the Legend of Lizzie Borden. What Montgomery later learned was that she and Lizzie were more than just connected through this role. They were distant cousins. They were both descended from 17th century Massachusetts resident John Luther. As Montgomery delved into the role, strange things started happening on the set. Props moved on their own, lights flickered, footsteps echoed where no one had walked. The crew whispered about the Borden curse. One evening, after a daunting day of filming, Montgomery returned to her hotel room to find a bloody handprint smeared across the mirror. She wiped it away, but the next morning, the handprint returned. A local historian later revealed that the hotel stood on land once owned by the Bordens. As filming progressed, Montgomery's dreams turned violent. She saw herself in the Borden house, axe in hand, staring down at two lifeless bodies, the floorboards soaked in blood. And every night, she woke at 3:15 a.m., the estimated time of the murders. Despite her growing fear, Montgomery pushed forward, pouring her unease into her performance. In fact, her final scene was so disturbing that even the crew felt the temperature drop. When filming ended, the strange incidents stopped. Montgomery never spoke about them publicly, but later, she admitted that playing Lizzie Borden was more than just acting. She felt as though she had been chosen to relive the murders, trapped in a sinister bond that bound her by blood and fate. After the trial, Lizzie and Emma never spoke again. Emma moved out in 1905, never returning to her sister or the dark past they had shared. Did she know something more about the murders? Or did she simply want to escape the weight of it all? The Borden home still remains today, preserved as a museum and a bed and breakfast where guests swear they hear footsteps in empty rooms and a woman humming softly in the night. Even now, some speculate that Lizzie wasn't the killer. What if Emma, her sister, had done it, and Lizzie was covering for her? Or what if it was the maid, Bridget, who could no longer handle the pressure of Andrew or Abby's demands? Or how about the rumors of alleged sexual abuse perpetrated by Andrew towards Lizzie, Emma, and Bridget? The blood-soaked dress or apron, depending on which site you research, was immediately burned to ashes. Then there's the mysterious disappearance of the weapon that was never recovered. Some speculate that the axe was hidden somewhere in the fireplace, an area that the investigators missed. There's a lot we'll never know for sure. One thing is clear: the evidence was thin, and Lizzie was acquitted. But in the end, 2 people were bludgeoned to death, and no one was ever convicted for the crimes. If you visit the Borden house, listen closely. You just might hear the taunting of that cruel rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Thank you for watching Storytime with Paranormal Tendency.